How does one define success? Well, if we're talking about everyday life, it is a pretty abstract concept. But if we're talking about SaaS businesses, I just know a few good metrics or two. Hi, this is Sarah from UserGuiding, and today we're talking about customer success metrics that you should be tracking in 2022. Let's get to it. Now, if we're going to be talking about customer success metrics, we would first need to address a very important question. What is a customer success metric? A customer success metric basically is a key indicator of how well your customers are doing with your product. You can use these metrics to measure customer conversion rates, customer churn rates, customer retention rates, referrals, etc. There are way too many metrics, to be honest. And if you can really use them correctly and in a good way that will benefit you at the end of the day, you can create a base on which you can maximize your customers' lifetime value with your product and your business. Like I just said, there are a lot of customer success metrics. So you might be asking, isn't there a good way to categorize them all into little categories and make it more manageable? Well, there is. We put them in 5 different categories. These would be product technical performance metrics, product business performance metrics, customer engagement metrics, lead management metrics, and customer ROIs. Now that you know what a customer success metric is and how we categorize them, we can now talk about our list, which features 16 different customer success metrics and KPIs. And first off our list is something you might be familiar with, customer churn rate. Now, customer churn rate is a really simple but effective metric, and it's basically the percentage of customers that no longer use your product or service. For example, if there is a canceled subscription or closed account or loss of the revenue, loss of contract, that all counts into customer churn. Formula for customer churn rate is also very simple. All you have to do is divide the number of churned customers by the number of all of your customers, and what you get is customer churn rate. Second on our list is monthly recurring revenue, or as you might know it, MRR. MRR is a normalized calculation of a business's predictable revenue on a monthly basis, and it is a really important metric for SaaS businesses for financial forecasting and planning ahead, especially if you're a SaaS business with investors behind you. This is an important metric that you should be paying close attention to. Calculating your MRR is also pretty easy. All you have to do is multiply your monthly average revenue per user by the total number of users you have on a month, and you get MRR. Now you're thinking, hold on, slow down a little, what is average revenue per user? Well, luckily that is our number 3, and it means basically what it reads, average revenue received in a period of time per user. And it is a very important metric for a lot of businesses in SaaS, and social media, digital media, telecommunications. It is a metric that lets these businesses look into important data and find insights in these regarding profit generation and competition with their competitors, and understanding users, and obviously financial forecasting. Calculating average revenue per user, or ARPU, is as simple as it sounds. All you have to do is take your total revenue at a given time and divide it by the total number of users you have at that same time, and you get ARPU. Number 4 on our list is net dollar retention, or NDR. NDR is a metric that has to do a lot with your existing customers. It basically calculates the revenue change generated by your existing customers. It has a lot to do with upgrading, downgrading, churning, additional purchases, all by your existing customers. To calculate your NDR, all you have to do is take your starting MRR plus extensions, minus downgrades, minus churn, then divided by your starting MRR times 100. Number 5 on our list is Net Promoter Score, or NPS. NPS is a measurement of your customers or users' loyalty or satisfaction with your product or service. To calculate this, typically a survey is used, and on the survey, there's a question asking your users or customers whether they would be likely to recommend your product or service to their friends and colleagues, and how likely they would be to do that on a scale of -100 to 100, sometimes on a scale of 1 to 10, sometimes on a scale of happy, neutral, unhappy. Now, how do you measure NPS? All you have to know is one simple thing. Let's say your survey was on a scale of 0 to 10. Then the people who have scored between 0 to 6 would be your detractors. People in between 7 to 8 would be neutrals, and people between 9 to 10 would be your promoters. Now, we have this, and what we have to know is the formula, and it is pretty simple. It's just the number or percentage of promoters minus the number or percentage of detractors, and you get your business's net promoter score. At number 6, we have customer satisfaction score, and you might be thinking, well, isn't that the same thing as net promoter score? It isn't. And the reason why is because customer satisfaction score has to do a lot more with customer happiness and satisfaction, obviously, while NPS has a lot more to do with customer loyalty. It asks the question of whether your users would recommend your business to friends or colleagues, while the customer satisfaction score basically asks, hi, how are you? Are you satisfied? And well, you might be thinking also, then why am I reminded of NPS suddenly? Because after the debut of NPS in 2003, customer satisfaction score was kind of ignored after that, due to the fact that NPS was basically more important in the long run. The calculation of customer satisfaction score is pretty easy, much like some other metrics on the list. All you have to do is take the number of satisfied users or customers divided by total number of responders and multiply it by 100, and you get customer satisfaction score. At number 7, we have a metric that any SaaS business should be aware of and already be using: conversion rate. And conversion rate is basically a metric measuring your success at getting your customers or prospects to be customers to perform a action that you want them to do, or make a purchase or anything else on that line. Basically, these actions can be purchasing something, subscribing to a paid plan, registering to your website, filling a form, submitting that form, anything, honestly, as long as it's a desired action for your business. And how do you calculate conversion rate? It depends on the type of conversion rate you want to be calculating, as I have just explained. For example, let's take website registration as your desired action and try to calculate that. All you have to do is take the number of conversions divided by the number of website visitors and then multiply it by 100%, and then you have your website conversion rate. At number 8, we have a customer health score, which is a metric that can really change from business to business, but basically what it does is assess the likelihood of a customer to downgrade, upgrade, or churn, but it is really most prominently used to foresee churn. By employing customer health scoring and monitoring it properly, you can foresee churn before it happens, and it is really an important way of controlling and monitoring your customer base. Customer health scoring is a really specific kind of scoring that can change from business to business. So what you need are some criteria to decide the elements and factors that you will be counting in your calculation. These can be the depth of use, the breadth of use, the frequency of use. For example, you can be asking how often do users log into my product, or how many key features are used by these users, or how many users are using my product from one account. It's all up to you. At number 9, we have customer lifetime value, or CLV, which is a really important metric that any SaaS business should be tracking right now. And the reason why it is important, because it means the total revenue a customer is going to be bringing you over their relationship with you and your product. Basically, some of the areas that it is relevant are how valuable a customer is for your business, how likely they are to become a repeat user, and how much you should be investing in retaining them. To calculate your customer lifetime value, all you have to do is multiply, and multiply. You just take your average purchase value, multiply it by average purchase frequency, and then you multiply it by your average customer lifespan. At number 10, we have customer retention cost. If you have been in SaaS business for over a week now, you should be well aware that retaining your customers is important as acquiring them. And this is a metric that should help you in customer retention and how much it costs. I strongly advise that you take good notice of this one metric, because if that one marketing campaign flops, this is the metric you should be running to. Calculating your customer retention cost is actually a pretty straightforward process. All you have to do is take all the money you have spent on customer retention, like customer support costs, customer marketing costs, and all that. You take that value and then divide it by the total number of customers you have. There you have your customer retention cost. At number 11, we have qualitative customer feedback, which is not actually a metric, but it still deserves attention, because qualitative customer feedback is something that helps us answer some of the questions, like why has a customer given a certain NPS, or why has a customer left a item in their shopping cart, and so on. So basically, it is really important that we pay attention to it, and the best way to collect qualitative customer feedback is to let them fill in certain forms in-app or by email. At number 12, we have first contact resolution rate, which is a metric to see whether customer service or customer support inquiries can be resolved in the first time customers reach out to your customer service team. Although it may seem like this is a metric more closely related to customer service, it actually plays an important role in a bigger picture of customer success. There is not a fixed formula to measure your first contact resolution rate, but there are some questions that you should be asking yourself. For example, what defines a first contact resolution? Does it count if a customer called a different department and they asked for support? Or do customers leave a contact point, a call, because of the waiting time? At number 13, we have customer effort score, which is a metric used to measure how difficult it is or how long it takes for a specific action to be performed in your product or with your business. For example, some situations could be getting help or purchasing or returning something, as well as any other action that can be performed in your product. However, there is one thing to be wary of, which is the reliability of this metric. However, it looks perfectly reliable. It is important to use it in tandem with another metric, such as NPS surveys, maybe, to get way more objective data. Calculating your customer effort score essentially depends on conducting a survey All you have to do is take the positive responses and divide them by the total number of responses. And there you have your customer effort score. At number 14, we have SaaS product usage rate, which, as the name suggests, is a metric that looks into product usage in SaaS products. It can look into product usage frequency, product usage depth, breadth, just like customer health scoring, honestly. But essentially, they are two separate metrics because of the fact that customer health scoring has a lot more to do with churn forecasting, while SaaS product usage rate is a more primitive version of this and can work in tandem with different metrics too. Measuring SaaS product usage rate is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is decide on a time interval, maybe daily, maybe monthly, maybe a yearly basis, and then look into the frequency, the duration, the specific features and tools the users are using, and there you have your product usage rate for your SaaS business. At number 15, we have SaaS average session duration, and just like SaaS product usage rate, it is kind of a raw metric, but it is in no way unimportant because of that. Average session duration is a metric that looks into, as the name suggests, the average time users spend in a given product. But at the same time, you can look into how much time does a user spend in a specific section too, and that makes it a really valuable metric. To measure average session duration, all you have to do is take the total seconds or minutes or hours of all sessions and divide it by total number of sessions, and there you have your average session duration. Finally, at number 16, we have monthly and daily active users. Now, monthly active users is something no SaaS company can turn a blind eye on, especially the growing ones, because no growth plan can be made without paying attention to your monthly active users. It is also worth mentioning that you cannot possibly bring your customers and users to success without knowing your monthly active users. Also, it is important to calculate daily active users as well, because your users can be using your product monthly, but it might be just an urge, or they might not be fully interested. Daily active users helps you figure out that and find a ratio. The higher the ratio, the better. How do you measure monthly or daily active users though? To do that, you would first need to define what active means for you. For example, for Twitter, it means retweeting something or liking something. Meanwhile, for Canva, it could mean completing a design or something on that line. For your product, though, it could mean something like logging in, liking something, visiting certain pages, creating content, or simply seeing the bottom of the feed. It all depends on your definition of active. That was all the customer success metrics and KPIs that you should be tracking in 2022. This was Sarah from User Guiding. See you another time.